and you say Shot City and around the world. Welcome to another episode of Chicago's ILLectual podcast. And today we have Miss Sierra White. How are you, Sierra?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's allergy season, but I'm making it through.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into it. Let's give a little bit of background about Sierra White. Who is Sierra White?
Funny that you asked. I'm just kidding. I am a 24-year-old entrepreneur, recently located to Chicago. But yep, that's me. That's who I am.
So you recently relocated to Chicago. You are a native?
Yes, I am born and raised. Yep, on the south side
Born
and
in the
south
city?
suburbs.
Were you born in the city or the suburbs?
So I was born in the city and I lived in the suburbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did you go to school? What was your academic journey like early on?
So I went to school in the south suburbs. So I started out at I don't remember like my grade school, stuff like that. But I know my middle school was like O.W. Huth in Matson. And then I went to Southland College Prep for a year. That's like in Richmond Park. And then I transferred over to Rich Central because I hated that school. And so I spent my last like 3 years of high school at Rich Central. And then I had went to Parkland for community colleges my freshman year, which is in Champaign-Urbana. Like that, I feel like that 1 year changed my life, literally. And then my last 3 years of college, I spent it at DePaul University.
Okay. And so you ended up at DePaul, and what was your major at DePaul?
My major was accounting.
Accounting?
Mm-hmm.
You like numbers?
I don't think you have to like numbers to be in accounting. I'm good with numbers,
okay,
but I'm not like a numbers person. I'm not like an analytical person.
So what is the basic premise of accounting though? Just so the world can know.
The basic premise of accounting is like storytelling in a company. So like, and you're accounting for what they say that they do or that they did.
Ah, see? Very interesting. I'm not sure I even knew that much, right?
Cut it out.
So what are Sierra's values in life? What do you value in life at this point?
At this point, I value integrity first and foremost. I think it's very important to stand on like your principles and morals and have that self-respect, courage, just to be able just to go out there and do anything and just see where life will take you. Health, even though I'm not like, I wouldn't say like a healthy person, like I don't work out or anything, but just, I think like eating good is important. I think those are my biggest 3 values in life right now.
Okay. So who are some of your early influences like that propelled you to have interest in accounting and education and things of that nature?
I feel like my early influences are like, it's so many people. If I name some people, I forget their names. I think they'll be mad at me. But I would say mostly like my family and like friends and family that like grew up with, or the people who I adapted like to grow along with over the years, definitely influenced me, my mindset. But as far as people get me into accounting, my mom is an accountant as well, but I didn't like get into it because of her. I actually demised it because she was doing it. So I didn't want to feel like I was falling into somebody else's footsteps.
Right.
But yeah, it was crazy how I got into it because at first I was going to school to be an occupational therapist. Just because like when I was younger, my grandma got hurt and she had like a disc in her lower back, and she was I couldn't help her, but the occupational therapist helped her get through it and like through outpatient and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. Like that's what I would want to do, to like help people, help older people and do it. But I couldn't do those classes. I couldn't do chemistry, kinesiology, I was crying in those classes, so that definitely kicked me out. But I had to take math for that, and the girl who I was in a math class with, her name was Tiffany. She was always bugging me about accounting and like saying like it's different things in accounting other than what my mom does. Like what she does is like a 1% job compared to like the whole field.
Mm.
And she really changed my aspect on that. Like every business, even whether it's big or small, needs an accountant. So it's like you'll never be without a job, but also I'm like kind of like a nosy person. So if I look at your bank statements,
Mm.
I can see what you like to do or what you do often or what kind of I can feel like what I can know what kind of person you are. Or if
Yeah.
I look at a company's balance sheet or like earnings reports, I can know like what's coming next or what they look for or what they're up to.
Okay.
Just it feeds my nosiness.
So you're basically looking at patterns, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny that you talked about having courage, and then you talked about changing majors, right? Because it takes courage to change majors like that, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're at a school like DePaul, like that could be.
No, I didn't change it to Paul. When I got to DePaul,
Oh,
I knew what I was doing.
oh, okay.
I can
So
change it at
where
a big university.
where
That's
were
not
you when you
funny.
changed majors?
I changed majors my freshman year. Like I changed my major 3 times
Okay, okay, I got you. So you
at
wasn't,
a junior college.
yeah, you wasn't too far along, so it wasn't that challenging, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't as bad.
So it's funny you talked about like having your own identity, and you didn't really want to like follow in your mother's footsteps in terms of uh her profession.
Hmm.
But I always kind of talk about the fact that there's this research that shows, and your mom went to a community college and then she went on to go to school, and she pursued her career. Now she's doing well, but um, there's this research that shows that if a parent or a sibling gets a bachelor's degree, um, then their child, right, or sibling will probably get a master's, right? And if the parent or the sibling gets a master's, then the child will probably get a PhD. So
Okay.
although you didn't necessarily want to follow in her footsteps in regards to that exact profession, what you were witnessing from her probably influenced you without you really realizing it at the time.
Yeah, I would
Right?
definitely do that.
Yeah. So what are you working on right now? What are we?
So much stuff. It's so exciting. So right now, I'm in the process of closing on the franchise with Red Mango.
Okay.
Also in the process of closing on a 2-flat building
Mhm.
in a city. And right now I have so much. I run 2 blogs.
Okay.
So one is like a hobby blog where I teach like just financial education and stuff like that through my blog. Like the stuff that I'm learning or I learned or what I'm doing. um,
Yeah.
and then I have another blog that's called Sugar and Code.
Sugar and cold.
Where I
Yes.
make I design like websites, website themes, or like even for people like a little Instagram templates and stuff. So that's mainly passive. I do write every week to just help people navigate through creating their own website or just getting on social media and how to use email marketing. So that's what I'm doing, what I'm working on. Just trying to further my brands with that.
It's funny. Um, I think maybe we'll have you to design our new website for this podcast.
Really?
Yes, and I'll allow you complete discretion to go ahead and just freak it out the way that you want to freak it out. And I mean, you have our bio, so yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that after we're done here. What about mind mode tricks? What is that? Is that something you're involved in? Money mode tricks. I'm sorry, money
You
mode.
gotta get my brand name right. Money
Money mode tricks.
Matrix.
Well, you didn't
That's my
tell
financial
us.
blog.
You have to tell the world. What is that?
Yeah, it's called Money Matrix. So at first, I came up with this name in New York in my apartment in New York. Um, I wanted to do like the whole like matrix thing, like trying to tell people like it's because people think like money is complicated and it's not. It's really simple. Or how to get money is really simple. But so kind of find out that domain name was taken, like the matrix part. So then I just did like a wordplay, like money make tricks, and I just switched up, like, hey, like instead of being a trick to money, have a money be a trick for you. So that's how that came about.
That is so hip hop. Like flipping words, so semantics, and then coming up with a title. Because it sounds like Matrix, right? If you say
Yeah.
yes.
Like you can get
Money
that
Matrix.
aspect. But I was so mad. I was heated for like a week because why y'all take my domain name? And then you charge me $3,000 for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's another thing too. You can make money off buying domain names and reselling for higher.
Oh,
I
wow.
wasn't paying $3,000 for it. So I had to come up with my own thing.
Wow. So tell the world a little bit about finance as an avocation and or hobby, right? Because this is your thing.
Yeah. So my thing is really like personal finance. Like personal, it's really personal, but it's it's not like a hard thing to get into. It's really simple and you can make it like easy to you. Like right now it's so easy to get money. Like if you have a cell phone and Wi-Fi, you can become a millionaire in the next 3-4 years. It's not that hard, but you just also gotta know how to manage your money. And like, I would say my biggest like tips or my 3 steps is like, okay, learn how to make money. Because if you can make $1, you can make $10.
Right.
So once you make the money, I would say like save 30% of it and invest it. Whether that can be the stock market or real estate or, it's different alternative investments as well. I know people was conning people, I think like a year and a half ago about Birkin bags, but that's an investment. Like you can buy a Birkin bag or use Birkin bag for more than what that person bought for. And it appreciates more than traditional like investments like real estate stocks and stuff like that. And also crypto too. Y'all need to get into crypto. Like even you can put however much money you want to put in there. And also you can earn interest off your crypto as well. So like you don't sell it, you can earn interest every day off of what you already put in there.
Fun fact. When I was in grad school and I was interning for this non-for-profit in the city on the north side, there was this white guy whose desk was adjacent to mine, and he was a kind of cool white guy, and this was way back like 2010 or something like that, right? And he would always be telling me about this cryptocurrency, right? And being so game conscious, I'm just like kind of blowing him off, right? He was trying to get me to invest. He kept inviting me to his house. Like I never went. And, here we are today and crypto has absolutely blown up, but he was into it back then, right?
Yeah, that's 10
This
years
was like
ago.
at the beginning.
So imagine now.
I kick myself so much about that.
But it's never too late to get into it.
Yeah, that brings me to my next question. And although we don't want to use blanket theories, I would ask you, in your line of work, have you found or has it been your experience that our people, like Black people, are typically afraid of money, like having a lot of money? Or was it that's just that they're uneducated about how to invest and maintain money and how to build financial security?
I don't think they're afraid of money. I do think there's a miseducation or lack of education at all about how to maintain it and grow it and different things you can do with it, because most people are just so stuck on cash and just hoarding it or just walking around with like lots of cash. And it's like, yeah, that's cool and all to hold up on Instagram to your ear, but it's just like, is that going to produce you more money? You know what I'm saying? Can you maintain that?
Okay. So What's your success been like with assisting people with extending yourself as a financial educational resource?
It's been crazy. I feel like the most impact I made, or like the people that's closest to me. Like I have my aunt. I make her like pre-read my blog posts just because I told her I wanted her to like see if it's okay.
Mhm.
But it's actually like I want to like her to get surpass me. And just this, I think a couple months ago, she became an angel investor like within the company, and she just built up her savings like crazy.
Mm.
Because at first she used to have phone calls like she was like, "Girl, I don't know how to save money, or I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that." And when I first had her start reading my like blog posts before I like published them, she was like, "Okay, you need to talk about which high yield savings account needs to be on there, or your advice on this, your advice on that." So it's just amazing to see that like one effect in my family.
Right.
But also just people like will hit me up on Instagram like, "Hey, like, girl, you helped me save like $500," or
Mm.
"I bought my first stock today," or like,
Mm.
"I'm starting my business." So it's crazy.
That's
That's
good.
the power of like social media. And I'm not like really big on social media, but just the effect that I have on the community that I built. Like they would get on me, like I haven't posted in like a couple months. And they be like, "Girl, where you at?" I'm like, "Girl, you can always DM me." But
Mm.
I'm just be so busy with other things I have going on that I can't always post, but I can always respond to like a DM or email.
That is so spectacular. You're only 24 years old and you've already done so much with your life. I'm excited to see what's going to take place in the future. Um, do you remember coming through and blessing us with your presence at our youth program? You remember that?
Cut it out. Y'all helped me so much with that youth program. I feel like it's been like the people that I've met and like being more open and talking about my experiences growing up in Chicago and just stuff like that. I felt more at home. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And just it
Yeah.
was like like-minded people. Actually, I think it was my first time going downtown when we held a class there.
Really?
And that was crazy.
I did not know that.
It was like I feel like it was all our first time. Well, like my aunties and them who all came with me. It was all our first time being downtown. Like we never been downtown before. And like after the class, we went to go explore. But we were just so confined to like our neighborhood
Mm.
on the weekends.
I'm gonna have to get your mom. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was like our first time. We was excited too. Like all these buildings. Like this is
Yeah, I
my
think you
city.
were at Columbia College at that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you remember Nosa Bodie? You remember him? Nosa?
Yeah. So I remember two people by their names. Everyone else I
Okay.
might have to like look at their face. But it was Nosa and William.
Okay.
Are the people that I remember.
Okay. And you, so I think you and Nosa were at DePaul at the same time, but he was in the theater school. So you
Yeah.
guys probably never crossed paths during your academic journeys at DePaul. But I got a call from Nosa like 2 weeks ago, and he's in New York pursuing an acting career. And what was really so funny was that Nosa was telling me that he was out for drinks in Harlem, and he was at this bar,
Mm-hmm.
and in walks one of the other participants who was in the youth program with you guys at that time. And he was the young man that went to the University of Virginia, and it was in the news. It was all over the news that the University of Virginia police kind of like roughed him up because he was going to this club and they were saying that he didn't have ID or whatever, right? And they roughed him up, and it was all over CNN and everything, all over the media. But he walks in on a date, and I'm thinking like, how crazy is it that two of the people who were in our youth program are now in New York doing well, and they happen to bump heads in a bar?
I know. I should have been at that bar. I should have been at there. It could have been three. Nope.
That is so crazy. And William, he's also pursuing an acting career here in Chicago. He's coming on the podcast sometime in the near future and everything. But I just found that that's so spectacular. But the whole point is that we are very proud of you. That's the purpose of this podcast, right? To show the world an alternative view to the violence that they see on the news, you know, all over media outlets, social media, even word of mouth, right? We have some young people that's doing some spectacular things as well in Chicago, you know, and
Yeah, well, that's
associated
helping
with
thanks
Chicago.
to you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't do the work. I just tried to
Yeah,
provide.
but you created that community for us to, bloom.
Yeah, I mean, it was just about providing a safe space and allowing you guys to have a voice. Like if you notice, our staff never ran any of the groups. We always had the young people run the groups. They would come with their topics. They would lead the discussions. And it's just very important as adults that we step aside and allow the youth to take the lead sometimes. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, youth are already natural leaders, like they're innate leaders, but they're not provided the opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not provided the opportunity, sometimes they end up going in another direction. So I mean, that was just our whole premise. And that just came basically from me and my cousin DeAndre's childhood when we didn't have a resource like that, right? And of course, we ended up running into trouble and everything. So we didn't want to see that happen to like young people coming behind us and everything. So
Well, y'all did a good job.
I appreciate it.
And also taking us out of our environment. Like it was
Yes, that's
insane.
very important. You know, that was actually in our mission statement. You know, the fact that we wanted to expose young people to environments outside of their immediate residences, right? We wanted to take people and expose them to situations and spaces that they had never seen before, right? So that was a part of it. So if you had to under the umbrella of accounting, if you had to put finances or investments into genres, how many genres could you tease out?
So many. Because it's just like, I feel like it's all based upon the person and what you like or what you're interested in. Because right now, like, I feel like those are like broad terms and like you can break it down to like so many things. But I feel like it's based upon the person though.
So you can basically tailor a financial situation to an individual because everybody's different, right?
Yeah. I mean, like you're gonna have different scenarios, but the principle's gonna always be the same.
Okay. So you talked about like investing, you talked about saving, and at what point would a person hypothetically enter the realm of being financially secure?
I feel like at that point it's just like you can decide whether you want to work or not. Or also if for me, how some people have like a number in their head, like, oh, if I get this much amount of money, I feel like I made it, or that's like their target. So I guess once you get to either that number or when you feel secure enough, like you don't have to always clock into a job or clock into wherever you have to be.
Ah, okay.
That's how I feel like you're secure because like work is an option.
Right. So financial security is tied into work being optional.
I feel like for the most part, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
And then you can like persuade other things or things that you thought that you couldn't do because either your job putting you back or like you feel like you had to be here. So yeah.
So you don't have the time if you're working 40 hours a week, right? You don't really have the time to
you don't have the time. You be tired after work.
Yeah, right. To invest on a high level or educate yourself.
Unless you set like system in place, so where you don't have to like always be here doing it. Like you can like set up, okay, like you know how people have like automatic like bill payments, like set up an automatic like savings account, get that money taken out your account, and then have half of it go into an investment account. And then like once a month or whenever you get a chance to just go and invest in it. Like the simplest things like go and invest in the index fund because it's gonna calculate the whole total market for you.
Mm-hmm.
You can also like get dividends through that as well. But
Right. So I'm sure that along your journey, you've read about and studied different success stories and investors and people who have just really been successful. I would like to ask you, who would you consider to be like on the Mount Rushmore of successful investors that you know about?
that I know about,
Mm-hmm.
Mount Rushmore, it's like 4 people.
Well, I'm just talking about overall.
Overall,
Yes.
it's this lady who I've been following for like the last 3 years. Her name is Aisha Selden.
Okay.
I feel like she like something that's like tangible. Her success story is like really amazing to me. I give her that. Who else? I would definitely give like Jeff Bezos for building Amazon. Like that's crazy.
That's ridiculous, right?
Crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Who else? I would give. It's this one guy who I follow on Twitter. He's like part of like Black Wealth Twitter, but not like he be dropping like gems. And he also has a podcast too. Him and his girlfriend has a podcast. His name is Xavier Miller.
Xavier Miller. Okay.
Dropping gems. And I tell you, gems,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. I'll give it to Elon Musk too, even though he's like be trolling, he gonna help you get some money. He gonna definitely put you on to some money if you follow through.
Right. We're not really into personalities. We're more into principle, right?
Okay. He gonna help you out.
Yes.
I'll say my last person. Who is it? Right now, I don't know, but them 4 people, I feel like is the top.
Okay.
Off the top to me.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking you were going to say Oprah.
I love Oprah, but I feel like Oprah she's on an entertainment aspect. Mm-hmm. I would give her that, but I don't know, Oprah not as open to me.
Okay.
Like you can't talk to Auntie Oprah. She ain't gonna be sharing that much. Like she's gonna give you some advice for sure, but as like a financial person, I don't think.
Okay. It's your Mount Rushmore, so
yeah.
I who say. You know. So let's move on. Like I remember talking to your mom, and you were in New York, and I was really concerned. I would always ask her how you were doing because you were there by yourself without any family and everything during the pandemic, right? So my question to you now is, how did you and your family make it through the pandemic?
Oh, I would say the pandemic really helped us a lot because I was like always working and traveling, and like my mom was like the same way. So, or like people just always working a lot, and I came home. It took me forever to come home, no lie, because like until New York shut, until like the grocery store by my apartment shut down, I'm like, oh, if I can't eat, I gotta go home. But that's when I decided to come home, and I don't know, like just being away from people for so long, like coming back, it was like that time that we had together, even like with like my extended family too. It was just a good moment. To spend that time and actually be grateful that even though like it's chaos going on in the world, but also that we're always together and needed to spend that time with them. I think that's the most important thing. Like I value time, people's time over anything.
So everybody basically made it through healthy though, right?
Yeah, everyone was good.
Okay, good.
Like nobody was like sick or even the thought of COVID within my family, which is like a blessing because they be outside.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
outside,
important
but
though.
everybody came through.
Yeah, that's very important because a lot of people were getting sick, and you know, I even lost a family member and everything. So it's important, and it's a blessing. It is a blessing, you know, to have your entire family come through unscathed and stuff like that. You know, so what does Sierra read?
Read.
Young ladies that are watching can know around the world, right? What
Yeah.
do you read?
I haven't read like actually like books and stuff in a
Mhm.
long time, but I do read like the news. Not
Mhm.
like regular news, but like news on like finance and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Or like
Right.
I read that all the time, like all day long. But I haven't read like an actual no, you know what? I read Queen of Fora's book, The Sacred Woman. I read that book, but that's probably like the only book I read this year.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're reading to stay abreast of what's happening in your profession, then that's very important. So
Yeah.
if that's what you're reading, then that's cool, right? So that's a great example for young people to know that if you're really interested in something, then you should always kind of read, you know, from within that genre. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, what's going
you
on?
might not
It's
have a lot of
important.
time for recreational reading, right? But at least you're reading to keep you empowered and keep you informed on your particular profession and stuff. So, do you listen to music?
Yeah, I love music every
So,
day.
what kind of music do you listen to? What are your favorite genres? What are your top 3 genres of music?
My top three, of course, hip hop,
Okay.
jazz, and I don't know if it's like a genre or something like that, but you know, like spa music that's like calming.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
Because sometimes I need a break from like like lyrics or beats and stuff, and just like listen, like calm my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those my top three.
Have you heard of a group called Enigma?
Mm-mm.
You should look them up.
Okay.
Look them up. It's very, very serene. It's really serene. And there's another group called Portishead. Portishead came out before you were born. but
But I'm gonna
but
still hear them
they,
though.
they
So
are
that's
so
like a
fly.
serene vibe too.
Huh?
Are they doing like more like a serene vibe too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But they do have like a lead singer. They're out of Europe, but it is very serene and they are just super fly. Like it's very relaxing. And then hip hop takes a lot of samples from Portishead as well.
You just gonna slide that in?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a big hip hop head, so I just want you to know that I am very proud of you. DeAndre is very proud of you. I told him that you were going to be a guest on the podcast today, and we're just really rooting for you. We're like your biggest cheerleaders. I'm going to personally slide some business your way, especially some of the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's only right. Keep it in the family. And I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you. Don't think I won't listen to you. I will.
We're gonna see. We had to rewrite it. Remember you said.
Yes, yes. So as we close, we always like to end our show with like a crowd favorite. And it's called Bring Some Weed, I Got a Story to Tell. And
Okay.
I smoke, right?
Yeah.
So for this section, what we do is we afford our guests an opportunity to tell a story of their choice. Like it could be something that happened to you by surprise. It could be like something that was considered to be a miracle. It could be a story of your choice. But we like to afford the guests to tell a story that they feel is important to them to close out the show.
Oh, this is exciting. I feel like my story of how I got to study abroad and live in Greece for 6 months, it was it was an amazing experience, but also my experience getting there was just like, I never thought I could even be in Europe or dream of being there. But I'm gonna take you through the back end first before we celebrate that accomplishment. um, so I was talking to this lady, her name was Imani, and she was like my mentor at DePaul, basically, like an unannounced mentor or whatever. I was asking like, what was the thing that you wish you did, or like what you can do now? Because she was like graduating the next year, and she's like she wished she studied abroad, and I was like, well, what's that? Like abroad where? But like she was like, just go look at the study abroad programs and apply and see what you can do. So I wanted to study abroad. They had like 1 week programs, and I applied for all of them. Like one was going to London, one was going to Germany. Um, I know what I was doing. I was just applying for them because she said like go somewhere else besides America and see how people living and just get it brings a different aspect on life. So I was like, all right, cool. I got denied for all them programs I applied for. I'm just like, how? How? Like I got denied for every single like last one I applied for. So I was like, okay, let me just go apply for a semester.
Okay.
So I applied. They had one going to Spain and one going to Greece. So I applied to both of them, and like I got like to the next step was like an interview with the person who was like basically like your leader or who's gonna take you there. And one of the ladies, the one going to Spain, she just completely like brushed me off like I was not there, or like I wasn't deserving of being there. And that's like the vibe I got. She's like, oh, why do you think you can go there? And I was like, well, I never been there before, just trying to like sell myself. But it was a no. It was a hard no. Like she told me at the end of the meeting, like, yeah, I don't think this is for you. And it was like, girl, I just want to get across the world. But when I got to interview with the lady to go to Greece, and I was just telling her like all my experiences, like applying for it, and I was like, I'm really like I was even discouraged. Like I just knew I wasn't gonna be able to get it. And she was like, sometimes you gotta go through a lot of no's to hear one yes. And at this point, I'm just like, I was just discouraged. You couldn't tell me that I was gonna be in America. But yeah, I never been to Greece. I never even heard about Greece. And I went there for 6 months. I didn't even do any research about going or nothing. But when I got there, it was an amazing experience, but also like women are not valued there. It's like the only woman that you would probably see is like a teenage girl working at a cafe. But most of the women were at home, like taking care of the household. And I was a foreign object, but it wasn't like a foreign object where like you like denied access to something. It was just like they never seen a black girl or black girls being able to like go to school or go hang out at night at certain times or go be able to like do the touristy things in the city. Like you're like a foreign object to them. And I just like never take the experience for granted because most of those women can't go to school or they don't have the same experience. That just made me appreciate like some people like white privilege, but also I had to come to myself like, oh, that's a black girl privilege to be in somebody else's country and still live like I'm an American and not be treated the same or look differently or, even like harassed or anything. So I just like that experience like really made me realize my privilege and what I want to bring to the world because I know that these women over here don't even have the same aspect of even going to school or getting a job. Like their job is to literally find their husband and raise kids. Even though that's an important thing to raise a human and stuff, but also like you want that identity to know that you could make it in a world where so I feel like that's my smoking story.
That is so spectacular. That is really spectacular. And I would only say to you that it is our ugliest experiences in life that offer us our greatest growth.
Yeah.
So all of the no's, right? All of the no's brought you to the realization that you just explained, which is very important. And that's why you told that story, right? Because it's very
like, no, like at some point, somebody's gonna say yes, and it's gonna provide you it's gonna be the yes that you were waiting for with the best experience and everything that you would hope for. So like, never give up.
Never give up just because you hear no, right?
Yeah,
Because
and you can hear 1,000 no's.
yeah, right. It might be 20 doors that close, and then the 21st door might open, and that might be like the highlight of your life.
Yeah, like that's the one.
Yeah, so we can never give up. So we appreciate you so much. How you?
No, thank y'all for having me on here.
Yes, yes,
Considering little old me just getting started.
yes. And we will follow up eventually. As time goes on, we'll follow up. And I know that we're going to hear more great things. So I want you to take care. And to the world, this is another episode of Chicago's ILLectual Podcast. We're signing off. I'm Rod Allen. This is Sierra White. We will see you next time.
Bye, guys.